Hi everyone, Richard here at Calvinwazoo, wondering what have I done? Because another year's over and a new one's just begun. Well, I am doing a vinyl tag for 2025. And Rob Walker apparently has announced that he's not going to be doing these anymore. He always had one at the beginning of the year. For the previous year, at the start of the new year, it was for the year before. And he always had really good questions. And I participated, just about every year for the last few years. So it's always been kind of a tradition. But then again, I understand that he's not going to be doing that anymore. Well, then all these other people in the VC were like, publishing their 2025 vinyl tags, but it wasn't even 2025 yet. Rob, you at least waited until after the first of the year. I see these tags being posted, in December, way before Christmas, and I think there was even one or two that were done in November or something like that. It just, jumping the gun, I think, a little bit. But I guess there's a little bit of vying for position to take the reins of the vinyl tag going forward. So, whatever. I'm doing one, and it's called Calvinwazoo's 2025 vinyl tag. And I have 12 prompts, 12 because there are 12 months in a year, plus a bonus. And I hope you will enjoy doing this. Feel free to hop on, whatever vinyl tag you want to. Just put in yours, either in your description, or you could put it in your title that this is, your participation in Calvinwazoo's 2025 vinyl tag, or leave a comment here in the down under with this particular video to let me know that you did that. And I'll make a playlist of the ones that I find, and eventually, post that. So we can still have some fun here. But really, I'm waiting for the new year before this goes live. A lot of people were like really jumping the gun. I know, seems a little bit too earnest. So, all right, let's begin. Question number one, I believe. Yes, the first question is usually number one. And this prompt is your favorite 2024 release you learned about from another VC vlogger. So it's something released in 2024 that you heard about on somebody else's channel. And, we often go out and, buy releases that way, but your favorite one. And so for mine, it's this one here. This is released by a band from Barcelona, Spain, Dame Area. And the name of the album is Toda la Verdad sobre Dame Area. And I learned about this from the Opinionated Hippie. And if you haven't checked out his channel, he's been around for a long time. So he was really speaking very highly of it. It's on this great red vinyl, and I managed to get one of the numbered special releases. The numbered releases, there were only 100 of them, and I got number 93. This is danceable industrial rock. And listening to his description was, really intriguing. And the lyric sheet that comes with it has the lyrics both in, I'm guessing it's probably Spanish. I don't know if it's Catalan, but it might be Catalan. And also in English. And the lead vocalist, this woman, what a voice. She's got this really strong, piercing, shrieking, growling voice. I mean, it's really good. As I say, it's industrial rock. There's some instrumentation going on, but they also were making sounds, you know, with hammers and metal and things like that. And her vocals, her singing is just really, really intense. So yeah, this is definitely my favorite 2024 release that I learned about from another VC vlogger. And in this case, it was the guy at the Opinionated Hippie. Okay, so the next prompt is your favorite reissue of from 2024. So I'm gonna go with the reissue that came out on Record Store Day in the spring of the eponymous debut for Wall of Voodoo. And I had, you know, an OG copy. I still have an OG copy of it, but the cover was mostly in really rough shape. And, you know, the vinyl it's good, you know, it's probably VG plus, probably VG. But then when I heard about this reissue for Record Store Day on this very cool gray and black splatter vinyl, I thought, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get it. And it sounds really, really good. You know, there are other reissues that I picked up in 2024. But this one, definitely my favorite. I mean, the cover they do of Ring of Fire, it's just, you know, it's Wall of Voodoo. Yeah, it's really good stuff. Standard Ridgway, the vocalist, Stan Ridgway. So that's my favorite reissue from 2024. The original, from 1983, right. This is, this is from 1980, I believe. Yeah, 1980 is when it was originally released. So there you go, the eponymous debut of Wall of Voodoo. All right, now, next prompt, a band that was new to you in 2024, and now you're collecting everything. So yeah, this band has been around since the 90s. And I really kind of only started listening to them this past year in 2024. Steve Carlson talks about them fairly frequently, and I've heard others talk about them. And I finally went out and bought I think about a CD and listened to it, and I was just completely enthralled. And I'm gonna try and get every release that I can. I'm talking about the band Calexico. Yeah, this is this one here is El Mirador, which I believe is their newest one. It's from 2022, yeah, I think. So they've been around since the 90s, early 1990s, from Tucson. I used to live in Tucson, but I moved out of Tucson in the early 1980s. But I just loved their music. So, you know, got this one. And then, you know, I've got this one on vinyl now. This one is The Thread That Keeps Us. Then I've got Feast of Wire. Really, really superb. This is a reissue, remastered reissue. The Black Light, which is probably my favorite release, but man, I love all of them. They are all so good. This is their debut, which is just Calexico. Spoke, maybe, I don't know. But really, really good. Got one more here. I have a couple others that are on CD, but this one is Carried to Dust. It's on the red vinyl. So, yeah, Calexico. They, having lived in Tucson and listening to them, they capture the vibe and atmosphere of Tucson and that whole region of southern Arizona excuse me, just superbly, really, really excellently. It's a mix of, alternative rock, folk rock, cumbia, other traditional Mexican, northern Mexico style, Sonoran style, music, mariachi style kind of music, blending these all together, and just absolutely fantastic stories. It's definitely, I am so glad that I started listening to them. And seriously, every time I see a record by them, I'm buying it. And even though, when you look up different ratings for their catalog and some of the other records, some of the records get lower ratings, but I haven't been disappointed by any release so far. There are ones that I like better than others. I probably would rate them a little lower too, but I love them all. Really, really good. So Calexico is a band that's been around for decades, but they're new to me this past year. All right, next prompt, an unaffordable grail that you bought in 2024 because of a reissue that was a lot less expensive. And there were a couple, that I did this year, but this one in particular, this is Juice by Ryo Kawasaki. And this was originally released in 1976. This is Japanese jazz fusion. And I remember, it was less than 5 or 6 years ago. I remember seeing it for, it was, a little on the pricey side at around $30, $40 to get an OG, but then the price just started going up like crazy. And then this reissue I saw, and I got it for a reasonable price. And it's been a while since I bought this. It's a 2022 release, and I can't remember what I paid for it, but I'm pretty sure it was less than $30 or right around $30. But yeah, the OGs go for anywhere from like $80 to well over $100. But yes, this was a unaffordable grail in terms of the OG, but the reissue sounds really good, and I got that reissue for a much more reasonable price. It's just black vinyl. So the one thing about it though is the sleeve is bigger than the normal. It's too large to fit in the outer sleeves that I have. So I'm gonna have to look up a different outer sleeve for it. Okay, now, a better copy release, the next prompt here. A better copy release that you bought in 2024 to replace a copy of lesser quality. And we do that from time to time. We have an earlier release, earlier pressing, or we have the original pressing, and for whatever reason there might be something wrong with it. It's too noisy, or whatever, and then there's a reissue that sounds really good, and so we pick it up so that we have a better listening copy. And that was the case with this album by The Call, Reconciled, which was a San Francisco band. They were producing, they really never hit it, but I don't know why, because I think they should have. And so this music on vinyl reissue replaces one that I had that had this really annoying kickback on one of the songs, and I don't know, I can't see it. I cannot see the kickback. There's some kind of flaw, because I've tried cleaning, I've tried doing other little tricks to clean out the grooves, and it's just got this kickback for some reason. But then I got this nice purple vinyl reissue, and it sounds really good. So now I've got a flawless copy of The Call, their release, Reconciled. All right, now, this is the next one now, your most exciting surprise find of 2024. Yeah, surprise find. And in my case, there's this Chicago band that was producing, records for a very short period in the early 2000s. And yeah, I believe it was early 2000s. Yeah. And surprisingly, it was like I never ever saw a record of theirs in a Chicago store anytime that I looked. Just about every time I would go to a store, I would look for a record by them, and I just never would see one. And so then I'm up in, recently, I'm up in Door County, Wisconsin, up in Sturgeon Bay, and there's a record store there. And I did a video about this earlier, and, I'm doing like making a video inside the store, and then my phone rests on this in the bin. It was like right at the front. This is the Ponies Celebration Castle. Yeah, the Ponies were this Chicago band, alternative rock band, really, post-punk band. It's just really, really good music. And I was so ecstatic, and this is such a fine, nearly pristine copy. So I was very excited to get this one. And this is also, I think, of the 3 to 4 releases that they did turn out, this, of the ones that I've listened to online, this is my favorite one. This is a really good record. So yeah, this was my most exciting surprise, because it really was to see it there, wow, in the front of the bin. It was almost like it was like shouting at me, like a stray cat in an animal shelter clinging to the cage. Hey, pick me, pick me. That's what this was almost like. So yeah, my most exciting surprise find in 2024. All right, now another kind of similar, a 2024 find of a band from your state or region. So band from your area where you live, and you found one of their records in 2024. And this was another situation that it could have been used for the Grail one, and that's this one, Piglet, and the release Lavaland. This is an EP, and Piglet's another Chicago band, math rock, post-rock band. And this is the only vinyl, this is the only release. I don't think they released an album of anything. Just this EP is the only thing they ever released, and they're considered like the GOAT of math rock. This is just really fantastic music, and also because it's relatively rare, even though they had a few variants of different color that they had pressed, it was really expensive. And this copy can be really expensive, well over $100. But I got it for $50. Now, that's, some of you, that's going to go, wow, that's a lot for a record. Yeah, but when you look at the price range in Discogs, it goes from $55 up to $100 and some odd dollars, and this is like a near mint copy that I got for $50. I think I got a really, really good deal. So that is a very exciting find that I managed to pick up in 2024 from this band from my state, Illinois. They're from Illinois. They're from Chicago. So yeah, if you don't live in the United States, your region or province or even your city, but just remember, we want to talk about records that we found in 2024. Okay, next prompt is my coolest find of 2024 by an artist and or a label that you've never heard of. Doesn't have to be a blind buy, but it's something you picked up that you never heard of. You listened to it and you really dug it, but you've never heard of this before. And for me, it's this release. The artist is Betenkust, and the release is titled Tropicana Tracks EP. So yeah, it's an EP. Also, it fits for the label I've never heard before, and that is Altered Circuits. It's a label out of Belgium. And this is what intrigued me, was this copy, the cover. I saw that, and that's like really, really cool. And fortunately, this store I was in had listening stations, so I put it on and I listened to it. And this is just really, really great dance music, electronic dance music, techno, more techno than house, definitely. Really, really good. Again, the label has got that same kind of Altered Circuits logo kind of thing going on. So yeah, that's my coolest find of 2024, about an artist I'd never heard of before as well. I got both of them, a label that I'd never heard before. Okay, so now the next prompt is the best live show you attended in 2024. And if you haven't, you don't go to shows, or you didn't go to any shows in 2024, then just, hey, an alternative could be your favorite live album, especially if it was a live album that you purchased in 2024. But yeah, you could, still participate in here with that. There were quite a few shows I went to in 2024, and a lot of them were just really, really good. But I am going to go with the show that I went to a couple months ago, Air. Here they were in Chicago, and they did the entire album Moon Safari. And then their encore, they played these other songs as well. It was just an absolutely fantastic show. It was so cool. Good seats too. And it was so cool to listen to this album, which I really love. This is such a great electronic, it's kind of an EDM, but also kind of an ambient kind of album. And it's such a cool album. It's so rich in musical texture, and also got some really, really good hooks and great vocals, the lyrics to the songs. If you know the song like Kelly Watch the Stars, that's like probably their biggest hit, Sexy Boy, because this was released, I think, in 1990, something like that. But yeah, French band Air was such a great show. Saw them at the Auditorium Theater in Chicago, which is a great venue, especially for this type of show with electronic music. Okay, next prompt is a series or collection you completed in 2024. And if you're not one to collect specific series of releases by somebody, or a series of comps or something like that, your alternative is then a record by a female artist that you picked up in 2024. So I'll give you two examples of that. A series that I completed is this one here, the Totem series by the band Master Musicians of Bukake. This is a Seattle area psychedelic drone, just really avant-garde kind of band that's really quite amazing. And they have this series called, there's Totem 1, and then there's Totem 2, and then there's Totem, Totem 3, which I don't have the obi with this particular one. And these particular releases follow a sort of Tibetan Buddhist storyline. They begin with a bardo, which is that state of being between life and death, and then you're waiting to be guided into the next life, and it's important to not be lost during the transition so that you're not stuck in the bardo forever and ever. That's kind of what these releases are. They typically have a mixture of drone and then also regional, tribal, ethnic music, mostly coming from, at least with these, it seems like most of the influence is coming from North Africa and perhaps the Arabian Peninsula area. But very cool that I was able to complete this series, and I'm very interested in listening to more records by the master musicians of Bukake. They got their name as sort of a play on this Moroccan collective of musicians known as the Master Musicians of Jojoka, which is this collective of musicians from Morocco that has existed for more than 1,000 years. It just continue, people, you have to be among the best musicians in this town or in this area, this community known as Jojoka, than to become one of the new master musicians of Jojoka. Now, if you're doing the alternative for a female artist, I pulled one for that too. That I picked this up in 2024, and the release is Noah's Ark, and the artist is Coco Rosie, which are these two sisters from France, and really interesting music. You gotta give it a listen. They sing in English for the most part, but here are the two sisters, and the one sister, her vocal, might. And this is, look at this. This is one of those terrible inner sleeves I need to get rid of, so I'm going to need to leave this one out. And change that inner sleeve. Over time, it leaches chemicals onto the vinyl. But anyway, her voice has this kind of a doll-like quality to it, I guess you could say, that some people might not like. Might be a turnoff for you, whatever. Listen to them online first. But Coco Rosie and Noah's Ark is the release. Now, next one is an amazing soundtrack or compilation that you added to your collection in 2024. And the one I pick is a soundtrack, and it's the soundtrack to the film Minamata, and it was done by Ryuichi Sakamoto. And I just love Ryuichi Sakamoto. Such an amazing composer and musician. I just such variety of what he's done, all the way beginning with the electronic music of Yellow Magic Orchestra, going into his solo career, and then becoming, he's done scores for many great films, including The Last Emperor, Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. He's done the scores for many anime series. And he did the score for this film, which is about the life photographer who uncovered the mercury poisoning of this Japanese community in the early 1960s. As a kid, I remember seeing that Life magazine article and seeing his photography. And it's just something that's it's unforgettable. And the music that Ryuichi Sakamoto put together for the soundtrack is unforgettable. Absolutely brilliant. And so, this was for my amazing soundtrack that I picked up and added to my collection in 2024. All right, now, next question is, tell us about a channel you started watching in 2024. And the channel, actually, there have not been very many new channels that I've been, checking out in the VC. The few that I've kind of picked up, but one I'm going to mention is, it's Kyle is his name, at Stack's channel. And it's a new channel. He doesn't have a lot of subscribers. But the first time I saw one of his videos and he was talking about the different music, I'm like, okay, one, he's showing a lot of music that I like and enjoy, and he's kind of reacting to the music the same as I react to it. So it was just a really good fit to start following his channel. So just a wide variety of music. He's very eclectic. So he's not just focused on one genre or subgenre. Check it out. It's Kyle at Stack's channel. And now, those are the 12 questions. Here's the bonus question, the 13th question. And that is, show us a 12-inch single or a box set that you purchased in 2024. All right, so I'm adding this as a bonus question because I know some people, you don't buy 12-inch singles, or maybe you just don't buy box sets. So that's why it's like an extra question. And so I got an example for each one. For the 12-inch single, the one that I finally got a copy of is this one, Born Slippy by Underworld. Picked that up in 2024. Such a great 12-inch, and the mixes on here are really good. Underworld is another one of those bands that I am just completely obsessed with. And then the box set, this band performed in Chicago, and I didn't go. Would have liked to go, but it was rainy, and I didn't want to go. And because it was an outdoor venue. And that is this, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. They released a box set of their 3 days in Chicago when it was raining and thundering, and this is just really incredible box set. And the vinyl, it's all on the different splatter vinyl. It's really nice, well done, sturdy box and insert material and everything. It's called Live in Chicago 2023. So the concert was from the previous year, and this got released. And just what crazy cool artwork. And like I say, the recording is, the first time I heard it, I thought it was kind of, it was a good recording, but, I didn't think it was really that good. And then I listened to it again recently, just, a couple weeks ago, and I had the headphones on, and then I realized that some of that muddy, muffled kind of sound that was coming in was the boom of thunder going on in the background around them. So it's just, just really excellent recording. So yes, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Live in Chicago 23, the box set that I picked up in 2024. So there you go. Those are my prompts for Calvinwazoo's 2025 vinyl tag. I hope you participate. Leave a comment in the down under. I enjoy, even if you don't participate, I enjoy getting the comments. But definitely, let me know if you do create a video, and then, leave a comment in there. Because like I say, I'll make a playlist. Remember, you can also find me on Instagram as NewsDude76. That's NEWZDUDE76, where I post these videos as well as other music-related content from articles and other videos that I find. And then I have a Facebook page called Calvinwazoo, where you can also follow me there, do the same thing, my videos, other video content, and just other things that are all, music-related. And so there you have it. A thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. It helps, even if you're already subscribed. Give me a thumbs up, please. And if you haven't subscribed, you might think about it, Whatever. But yes, I enjoy I appreciate, I should say, the fact that you may have taken the time to watch all the way through here, this 35-minute video. But remember to pray for the people inside your head, for they won't be there when you're dead. And Happy New Year.